Avoiding Death by PowerPoint, Best Practices for Creating Effective Presentation Slides. This presentation offers some strategies for helping you to transfer knowledge to your audience by keeping your audience engaged. These strategies will help you to achieve your presentation goals in your core classes, on your internships, and on the job. In this presentation, we will be focusing on slides that are part of narrated presentations. Those presentations that include at least two elements: the spoken word, either delivered live or recorded, and a set of PowerPoint slides. So thinking about narrated presentations, why do presentations fail? There are many different ways that slides can detract from a presentation. The top three are that there's just too much on the slides. Too many words, too many images, too many numbers. Slides can fail because they are data dumps of information without claims. There's nothing on the slide to indicate what the presenter has concluded from the data or what the presenter wants the audience to focus on or remember. And lastly, slides may fail because the slide content is too difficult to read or to interpret. So we'll address each of these issues and offer some solutions to help you to create effective presentation slides. Let's take them one at a time, beginning with the first, too much on the slides. Why do we overload our slides? Many times we put too much on our slides because we are asking our slides to do too much. We may be afraid that we will forget something as we are speaking, so we use our slides as our own speaker's notes, basically as a teleprompter. We may be asking our slides to do too much because we plan to use them as handouts. How do you respond to the slides you see here? There's so much you probably just want to look away. There is no way to take in all of the information on these slides in real time of a presentation while also listening to the speaker. So how can we solve that problem? One way to solve the problem is to think of the components of the presentation both separately and together. We often think of our slides as the presentation. The presentation is the slide deck, and the slide deck is the presentation. In that framework, the purpose of the spoken word is simply to talk the audience through the slides. If we shift that relationship to think of our speaking as the main part of the presentation, then the job of the slides is to clarify and reinforce the message we are delivering with the spoken word. Audiences do need visuals to fully understand the relationships within data. They need keywords to reinforce complex ideas they are hearing. Slides can clarify and reinforce better than they can present a point in its entirety. Handouts and appendices can capture both the ideas we convey with the spoken word and the support we provide in slides. We can use the notes section in PowerPoint to create handouts that capture both the slides and our speaker's notes. So to avoid putting too much on the slides, focus on each presentation component and don't try to have the slides do the job of all the components at the same time. Now let's think about that second element, data dumps without claims. In some of the other courses you've taken here at Questrom, you have written memos and emails with paragraph headlines. Slide titles are just like paragraph headlines. To avoid giving your audience a data dump with no claim, make your point in your slide title. Just like paragraph headlines, slide titles should be a message, not a topic, and they should be brief, like a newspaper headline. They should capture the one thing you want your audience to remember from the slide. In the same way that a reader can scan the paragraph headlines of a memo, letter, or email and know the main points of a document, we can scan these titles and get an overview of the points in the presentation. 23% of market share in 3 years, millennials seeking new solutions, product appeals to millennials, marketing to focus on social media. We now know specifically the who, the what, the why, and the how of this presentation. Ineffective slide titles identify a topic but do not reveal the point the presenter is making. Presenters achieve effective slide titles through drafting and revision. We might start out with market penetration prediction and through drafting and revision, get to 23% of market share in 3 years as we continue thinking about the point the slide supports. So to avoid slides that are data dumps with no claims, think about the single most important thing that you want the audience to take away from the slide. Capture it in a statement that is 10 words or fewer, and use the statement as your slide title. The last thing we're going to talk about is making our slides easier to read and interpret. One powerful tool to make our slides easier to read is consistency. Consistency in design and consistency in structure. Because words on slides capture key ideas, they are very often bullet points. The bullet point guidelines that you have seen in your SM 108, 208, or 209 classes and followed in your other writing assignments apply to slides as well. In general, keep slides to 6 bullet points or fewer and keep each bullet point to 6 to 9 words. We also want the bullet points to be in parallel grammatical construction. The points on the right are parallel and consistent. All begin with an ed verb. The points on the left are not parallel. The first is an ed verb, the next is an ing verb, and the third is a noun phrase. When bullet points are not in consistent parallel construction, the audience has to work too hard to shift between patterns and expectations to access meaning. So the most effective presentation slides support the spoken word, and they do so by keeping words, graphs, and charts to a minimum, including only what is needed to support or reinforce the spoken word. By making a claim or synthesizing a key message in the slide title, and by maintaining parallel grammatical structure. If you have any questions about this presentation, please visit the Writing Center in room 343 during the hours that we are open. If you have a quick question, stop by when you happen to be in the building. If you want to have a longer conversation, use the online scheduling tool to make a 20-minute appointment. We look forward to working with you to help you achieve your communications goals.